Hello guys and welcome to a new unboxing and blind buying video. Today I'm going to talk about Lattafa's Musamam. You know the Lattafa brand, it's mainly known for their clone scents, but as I understand this is not a clone. So let's see what is it about. And I read some comments about this scent, watched some videos, and I thought, yeah, I like spicy leather, so why not try this? And also I like the packaging, so yeah. Uh, I guess a little bit stupid, but sometimes you have to take chances. Although I always say that better not to blind buy your fragrances. But okay, so the packaging, first of all, yeah, it's pretty interesting box, made like a snake skin, and how I understand it is that it should be magnetic, but for some reason my box came a little bit crooked, and as you can see, it doesn't fully close anymore. Not sure if you can see it or not, but like, yeah, it's nice looking box, but you can see that it's a little bit cheap and the quality control isn't the best. But I mean, yeah, for the price point I paid about 30 euros for this, so what can you expect? So anyway, the fragrance is inside. Yes, the bottle is nice looking, as you can see. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, yeah, the material is like a little bit like a snake skin. So anyway, yeah, the bottle is nice looking, pretty heavy, nice glass, interesting cap, and the snake looks, yeah, I would say it's nice, and yeah, I mean it's a nice looking bottle. Again, I mean 30 euros, what can you expect? I have seen fragrances that cost twice as much, and pretty much the bottle is maybe even more ugly, or let's say the same. So not complaining about that. But anyway, let's see what this skin scent is about. First test, I haven't tested it, only opened the box and tested the sprayer, so seemed to work. So as always, spraying on the skin. Let's see. Yeah, pretty okay, the sprayer. I mean, it's a little bit, well, it's not the best, but it's okay. So that was one spray, and I'm going to give you a second one. Yeah. And let's see, like I say, I only read about this scent that it's supposed to be a mix between Gucci Guilty Absolute and Gucci's Voice of the Snake and maybe Bulgari's Cobra, if I remember correctly. So it's kind of a spicy, smoky, incensey, ambery leather. And yeah, so now that I have sprayed this, what I'm reading is I get a little bit of freshness. Now I remember the note pyramid that it's supposed to be mandarin. Yeah, and to be honest, it actually smells like mandarin. I'm surprised, because usually the citrus is usually lemon or bergamot or something like that. But yeah, I can sense that it's mandarin. I mean, when I smell it up close, yeah, there is some freshness, and I actually like it. And then I get pretty much this kind of a ambery smoke, like it's incense. Now Lattafa says that it's supposed to be Somali incense, and I guess it should remind of Somali incense, like it's a little bit sweet with ambery touches. Then a lot of mandarin, as I say, surprisingly fresh. I was expecting much more musty scent like the voice of the snake, because if I remember correctly, when I sampled it, it felt a much more kind of musky and musty, like a little bit like dusty. And this seems like it's much more fresher. Now I don't get the leather quite yet. I think it's more on the ambery side. Now when I think about the nose pyramid, there should be akigala wood, and a lot of people say that this scent is like sort of like this molecular kind of scent, that some people say it reminds like other scents that use akigala wood, like let's say Quentin Bish, the perfumer, is famous for using akigala wood in Ganymede and B683 and B63X Red and Ganymede X Red, and I mean you get the picture. So it's sort of that, like it's supposed to be patchouli mixed with oud and with some metallic notes. They explain that the akigala wood smells something like that. And I mean, when you notice akigala wood, yeah, you will understand what I'm talking about, and you will understand the material. And to be honest, I like akigala wood. I think it's interesting material. How many minutes has it been? 5 minutes. I think now it's starting to project like more of this metallic wood. And I mean, surprisingly, I was expecting much more spicy and ambery scent and much more smoky, but this is like a mix between mandarin freshness, then some labdanum or incense smoke, and then now I feel like there's some ambery woody tones coming up. Two sprays, not overpowering. Definitely will say it smells like, if I move my hand, now I get mostly like a little bit of incense smoke mixed with woods. When I come up, my hand is closer to my nose, I get more of the mandarin and a little bit of more, maybe spiciness and amberiness. So pretty interesting. And yeah, I mean, people say it's leather, but at this moment I would not call it leather scent. I mean, yeah, the noses are different. And Gucci Guilty Absolute is now discontinued. I sampled it maybe 2 years ago or something like that, and I would say that that one was much more leather forward, like the leather was present already in the opening, and here I think it's a lot of pressure, and the same with when comparing to the voice of the snake. Now unfortunately I haven't smelled Bulgari Cobra, and from the comments I read that it's also discontinued now, so unfortunately I cannot compare it. I guess it's starting to smell more like leather. However, I would say that it smells a little bit like suede leather. I don't think it reminds me of leather like cow leather, or you know, like this rough leather. So definitely not Tuscan leather or anything like that, like rough leather, but more like suede. And I mean, you can expect it from akigala wood if you know this kind of woody leather tones that it gives. Yeah, it's not going to be a surprise. Yeah, interesting. So now I'm going to take a cup of coffee, wait a little bit, and then tell you how it's going to develop. Alright guys, so continuing with Lattafa Musamam. So now it has been a little bit like 1 hour, 1.5 hours, something like that, after I applied it on my skin. And what am I getting? Now, first of all, I will say that it's not as powerful as some people say. I think already it sits pretty close to the skin, so I don't feel it's like projection monster. And I mean, it's hard to tell, but I would not say it's super long lasting. I mean, if it smells at this moment like close to skin, I would say it's something like, or I would expect it to last 6-7 hours, something like that, but definitely not a 24-hour scent. Now regarding the scent, of course, the freshness, the mandarin has already pretty much faded. I get it a little bit if I smell my skin really close, but up in the air it doesn't really come off anymore. And I get much more like this, some kind of sweetness and this amber woody feel. Now surprisingly, I was expecting a little bit more of the Akigala wool, this metallic woody note, but to be honest, I don't really get it. To me, it smells much more amber woody, like almost it has this strange sweetness, like if you think about incense mixing with vanilla, like this smoky vanilla scent. That's what I'm getting. And also I would not, yeah, I mean there is a little bit of hint of leather, but again, to me, to my nose, it doesn't smell like full on leather, like this strong leather scent. I think it's much more in the realm of smoky sweet incense, a little bit of spicy. And I was expecting a little bit more, maybe like a flowery tones because of the geranium, but surprisingly not so much. And yeah, at this moment I will not say I'm disappointed, because let's face it, the price is what it is. So of course, for this price point, what can you expect? But maybe I was expecting a little bit more like leather forward scent, and maybe touch less of the sweet notes. I'm actually surprised by the sweet notes that I am getting. So yeah, I mean, when this video will come out, I will test this for more time, and I will pin the comment how it develops, and more about the projection and more about the lasting power and duration of the scent. But at this moment it's a little bit mediocre for me. I mean, so regarding was it a good blind buy? Not really. I was expecting more, to be honest. And I am a little bit thrown off because of this weird sweet smoky note. Like it's this kind of incense that is mixed with some vanilla or something a little bit like vanilla, like this sweetness, to get, I think, much more like staying power. Maybe it's some kind of fixative, because I have noticed this same kind of note in other cheaper Middle Eastern scents and a lot of clones. Like they start more interesting, but then when we are getting the middle notes and the dry down, it becomes this weird sweet smoky sweetness. It's hard to explain, but if you try more Middle Eastern clones and cheaper scents, you will like get this note what I'm talking about. And I think this is the note that makes the cheap fragrances smell cheap, because when you ask people, oh, how do you like some cheaper clones, and people say, yeah, they start good, the top notes are good, but then in the development they get this weird, maybe like musty scent or musky or something like that. And I think it's this kind of some kind of fixative that they're using. So Athena Fragrances Glory of Jeddah, and I reviewed it some time ago, and I mean this is the clone of Oud Ulia from Amouage, and this scent has the same problem for me that Musamam has. So it starts like much more rugged and smoky and animalic, but in the dry down I start to get this weird sweet scent mixed with maybe incense or something smoky. And I would not be surprised that they're using some kind of fixative in the both of these scents, because I mean they are cheaper, and I mean Lattafa Musamam is much more cheaper than this one. And actually that was a deal breaker for me with Glory of Jeddah, because I was expecting much more leathery and animalic scent, but I noticed that in the dry down it turns into this sweetness, almost like sickly sweetness to my nose. Like it's not a good sweetness, it's not gourmand sweetness, it's something else. It's like burnt vanilla or something like that. Hard to explain. At this moment, all I can say that it has interesting opening, but the dry down, at least at this point, after about 1.5 hours, it's pretty unremarkable. And also, like I say, I don't feel like it's strong scent. So I mean, yeah, it might be interesting and good scent for running errands or going to store or something like that, when you just want to smell something and maybe you want to smell a little bit like exotic, so you're taking some cheap scent, you're using it, and don't overthink it, and you don't want to spend your more expensive scents. But as if I want a sweet leather scent, I would rather use something like Oman Luxury's Serenity. I mean, compare the prices. 30 euros versus 30 euros is like $30, $35 or something like that. And here is like 200 euros or $200. So of course the price point is totally different, and because of that I'm not surprised if they're using different materials, and probably this one Serenity from Oman Luxury is much more how should I say it, well, the quality of the materials is probably better, and I think the scent itself is like richer. And like I say, guys, just check out my pinned comment below and I will tell you if my mind changes after I have been using this for some time. So thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, this video shows why blind buying is always dangerous. Like I say, now 30 euros is not a bad price, but let's say if this fragrance costed 200 euros, you understand that the disappointment would be totally different. So with 30 euros I can just use this scent sometimes, or have it just for collection, or maybe gift it to somebody. But let's say if it's more expensive fragrance, yeah, the disappointment would be much more bigger. But anyway, these were my honest thoughts. Like always, not sponsored, bottles bought with my own money, and the review is my honest opinion. So that's why I'm telling you how things are. So, but we will see in the next video. So thanks for watching, and bye, guys.